Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to Mystical Munchies featuring the Dungeonmeister Cookbook. Last week we featured the appetizer, Necklace of Fireballs, which was also known as coconut chicken with tropical sauce. This week we're on to the side dish, Summon Wall of Garlic Bread, aka Stuffed Garlic Loaf. All of the ingredients are waiting for us at the table, so let's make our way over there. So here's everything I need for the recipe. The recipe calls for a large loaf of ciabatta bread, but instead I'm just using I'm just going to use a loaf of French bread for this. I've peeled and minced and pressed the garlic cloves. I'm going to need half a cup. Once again, calls for fresh parsley, but I'm going to use just packaged parsley that I find in the spice rack of the grocery store. I've got a half a cup. I'll bring that into shot now that I actually got it cubed up. I need half a cup of butter as well, which is 1 stick. 2 tablespoons of olive oil, a teaspoon each of salt and pepper, and I need a cup of grated Parmesan cheese. So let's move into the kitchen and we'll start actually putting everything together. We're going to move over my shoulder for this part. So I've got the oven preheating to 425. Next I want to cut thick slices into the bread, leaving about a ½ inch at the bottom uncut. So we'll go there, there, whoop, there, and here. Those are some really thick slices, but they said you want thick slices. Alright, so that's all done. I'll move the bread out of shot. Then we'll go ahead in a medium bowl, we'll combine everything else. So there's the aforementioned garlic cloves. Got minced up, we'll get all those in. I'll wash my hands because I don't want garlic residue on them. Next we want half a cup of parsley, which I actually need to freshly open. Dump that in. Let's see, next up we want the butter, which is right here. Put that in. Then we want the 2 tablespoons of olive oil, which is probably not going to be enough to lubricate everything, but we'll find out. Okay. Then we need a teaspoon each of salt and pepper. I'll bring the Parmo in as well because we're just going to dump the container of that in. So I've got the ½ teaspoon here for 1 and 2. Then for the pepper, once again, we'll go 1, 2. So that's all done. Then we'll dump in the Parmo, which I'm probably going to have to slice open. Oh no, it actually just came off rather nicely. So we'll just pour that in. Then we'll go ahead and combine everything together. Hopefully this will mix. Oh boy. Okay, that's going to be a problem. But you want to combine everything at this point. I might have picked too small a bowl for combining, but it seems like It seems like we'll manage, I think. Probably would have helped if I would have had the butter out a lot longer. The problem was, I just got back from playing a new board game with my group today, and I didn't really want to leave a stick of butter out all day. Probably is the way I need to do this, but hindsight, as they say. Alright, this part's going to get a little boring, so I'll go ahead and shut the camera off, and we'll come back when this is all ready to go. So that's probably about as combined as it's going to get. But next thing we need to do is we need to stuff the mixture into the cuts in the bread. And the only way this is going to stuff evenly is if I'm an Eskimo. But we'll see what we can do here. Whoa. Okay, this seems like I'm going to need to... I think this mixture was setting up, assuming I was going to have a loaf of ciabatta bread rather than the French loaf I'm using here. So I'm just going to get my hands in here for this. I think that'll probably be the easier way it's going to stuff. Okay, that actually just tore, so... Okay. It's not going to be a pretty stuffed job when we're all done here, but it'll be done and that's what counts. And hopefully the next step will help this out. But the only way to see it for sure will be to find out. So this will also be a part where I'm thankful that I've got coming up with what I need. So I think that's as stuffed as it's going to get. I'll go ahead and wash my hands once again. Alright, just throwing that in the garbage. But our next step in the recipe is actually going to be to wrap this. I'm going to stuff that a little bit more, but we're going to wrap this whole thing tightly in aluminum foil. So let's see if we can do this. Looks like I'm going to have to get another... Okay. This is very tight. Okay. I'll see if I can do something along the ends as well. So you'll grab another long piece. Do that. Okay. Alright, then I'll grab my baking sheet that I conveniently brought back into the kitchen. Then we'll put that in the oven for 25 minutes. So we'll get that, move that back here. See if we can tip this. Ow! Preferably without burning my hand would be nice. Let's see, do I have a timer on my phone for 25 minutes? I should. I've got an app that I use. Go away with the ads. Hey, look at that, 25-minute timer. All right, so we'll come back after that. So we'll come back after that timer's done. Advance apologies, but I'm gonna have to pass in front of the camera. So I just heard the timer go off, so now we're gonna take this out of the oven. Ooh, I'm hearing that sizzle. Let's see where things are at here, so I can move move the camera over my shoulder, I'll go ahead and take the aluminum foil off. Ow! This is just in the oven, Phoenix Night. So of course it's going to be a little toasty, but Okay, let's grab another. Actually, let's do this. I'm going to put that off here, and we'll grab another one of these. The goal here is to get this loaf back on the cookie sheet, but okay, that'll work. I'll get that off. I'll get that in the garbage. Then we'll throw that right back in the oven for another 5 minutes, preferably without burning my hand. And then when we come back this time, we'll be ready for the taste test. Here's what the stuffed garlic loaf looks like at the end of everything. I did have the one piece here that I cut all the way through, so we'll actually go ahead and use that. I'll grab a fork here, mostly so I can preserve, I don't know how much of the innards I'm going to want, but that's everything there. So we'll head over to my desk for the taste test. So we're back here at my desk for the taste test. Looking at this piece of garlic bread, this looks like a mess of parsley. Hopefully it won't turn out too badly, but let's find out. Bear in mind as I put the recipe together, it calls for ciabatta, but I ended up using French bread instead. So actually I might want to just scoop that all off. That's what my instincts are telling me. We still got a bit of parsley on there, but let's see how it tastes. It is still pretty warm, so you may hear me gasp. Really? I think it's just another garlic bread recipe. So it may turn out a little bit different because of when I actually remember to use ciabatta loaf, but this was an elaborate recipe for garlic bread. So just another one to add to the repertoire, I guess, but that is stuffed garlic loaf. So we're going to have a busy week on the channel. Tomorrow we're playing Pandemic Fall of Rome. Then Wednesday, what are we playing Wednesday? Right, we're playing Red Rising. We're playing a brand new game on the channel. Then next week, for the Mystical Munchies, we're going to be featuring the entree, which is roast porcus, aka garlic stuffed pork tenderloin. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.